Hello, in today's video we're going to look at this horse Chase. Now I've been starting him, but he's had a problem with one of his feet, so he's been unsound and he's been going quite well. I've been pleased with his soundness. He's coming along really nicely, but what I've found is that there's a massive hole in my training. The reason there's a hole is because he hasn't been sound, so therefore I haven't been working him optimally. I've been being careful of him, making sure that he doesn't work too much. So that was yesterday. Now today I came out doing the same thing, hopefully, going to do exactly the same lesson. And he seemed fine. We set off, everything was exactly the same. And so I'm looking mostly here at his frame until this happened. So this I hadn't seen before. This was quite interesting. I was very pleased to learn, to understand that I long rein them, teach them to long rein before I ride. But, it shows that huge hole in my training. And the hole is that I'd never really taught him the first saddling lesson. Now you can see the saddle cloth has slipped back a bit, but I think that happened after he started bucking, not before he started bucking. I think that resulted in the bucking, from the bucking. So I'm not really sure what it is that set him off, to be quite honest. And now, of course, I'm in a bit of trouble because this is quite a dangerous situation. I really don't want him to hurt himself. I also don't want him to hurt me. But I have to now try and get the saddle off him without losing him. He's very quiet. He's very happy with the ropes and things like that. It's something about the saddle. I did find he reacted a little bit like this about a week ago when I just placed the whip on his barrel where my leg would be if I was to use leg on him. And he had quite a severe reaction to that, just placing the whip there, which I thought was quite interesting. So the hole in the training is basically what I use as the first saddling lesson. So that habituates the horse to the saddle. I do what I call the recycling lesson there, where I use recycling bottles and things, and I habituate the horse to having things flapping about. So after I took the saddle off safely there in the middle of the arena, I put the surcingle back on him. I just wanted to check to see what it was that was upsetting him. So I don't think it's the girth. I really do think then that it was probably the movement of the saddle, I think, is probably what happened. I had the stirrups tied together, so I don't think it was anything banging on his sides. I think probably when he just started to trot, the saddle moved a little bit on his back, and that upset him. And then when he started to buck, then it slid a little bit too far backwards. So it's one of the things you also have to remember, if you're working a horse that for some reason isn't up to the job, if it's not fit enough, if it's had an injury or something, that means that you can't work it in the way that you would if the horse was 100% fit and sound, then be aware that you're likely to have big holes in your training. And don't find that out when you're sitting on the horse. Find that out before you get on the horse. So whether you're starting a horse under saddle, whether you're bringing a horse back into work after a break, it's really important that you do all of these foundation lessons that you find in the Can Do Gold training.